Started.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting Beyond All Reason game replay. I'm Turdbucket. I'm going to be taking you through this game that I played on, my goodness, I don't even know what map this is. All I do is play glitters, so I'll drop the name of the map in the description. But in any case, I decided to go on in this lobby because I wanted to try Frontline on a different map. And I also wanted to try Legion, a faction that has been around for a while, but really has come into its own lately. There is specific units designed for Legion now. They don't share a bunch of tech with core, with only a few one-off units. Now it's pretty much all specific Legion units, and it's a very interesting faction. I would say it is a faction that combines the cost of core and the firepower and health of a core unit with the speed of arm. So a lot of the core units are very slow. They don't move very fast, and the arm units are very quick, but they have lower health usually, right? The Legion units seem to be expensive like core units, but they're also faster like arm units. So they're kind of a blend of both factions into one. And there's a lot of cool and new interesting types of weapons too, like heat rays and napalm that make it fun to play. So anyways, I wanted to check it out. So what I built first here was a goblin. It's a light skirmish bot. It's similar to a tick, but it's also listed more like an infantry unit, like a pawn. You can see when you zoom out there, usually the scout units just have a solid small dot, and the pawns have a solid dot with a little tiny black dot in the middle that indicates that they are a little more offensive and not just primarily a scouting unit. So I do send my skirmish bots into these forward positions to try to understand what my enemy is doing and get a little bit of vision and reconnaissance on what's going on. I'm also sending my commander up quickly to the front to try to secure it. My first skirmish bot is killed pretty quickly by a mob of other goblins, and my other one ends up dying to some tanks and scout units from Brave Sir Robin. So we've got the top player from the other side, Beyond Ambition, going up against me, along with Brave Sir Robin, who is not one of the top players, but is playing a good game so far. And I come up here to build my first LLT. So I'm going to build a little LLT here. I'm having my constructor unit come out and build some of these mexes. I have another constructor helping to build back in my base. My big problem that I'm going to run into very quickly here is my metal. As I'm building this LLT, I realize that my metal is running out. And I drop a radar and trying to drop one more LLT, but that is going to be very difficult to do with the lack of resources that I have right now. I do build a satyr, which is the light plasma bot. It's like a mace or a thug. The difference is that these ones are actually pretty cheap compared to both the other units for arm and core. The one thing about them though is they are also faster, I would say, than the mace and the thug. Certainly the thug. Thugs are so slow, but man, do they fire and have great damage per second. Okay, so I have to bring my comm back to help build some of these metal extractors because it is not going well for me in the metal department. And I'm going to take this constructor and just come over here and build these other two. Instead of having him come all the way around here. WAFFLEMAKER's coming up to help me on the front, which is fantastic. He doesn't have any units on the... Oh, he does. I'm so sorry. He does have these tanks out here. So he is Legion as well, and he's gone with the Legion tanks. Our top player, Torrix, is next to us, and he has gone core. So we got core bots versus arm tanks. and then 2 Legion factions here. So we kind of got a 3v2 brewing up here because Dodlin is not bringing his units up. Surprised Torrix didn't push a little bit more. Maybe he does have a radar up, so he did know what was going on there. He is trying to get some snipes of these units here, but not raiding with his
commander destroyed.
That's right, I did lose my commander here. I did forget to zoom in on that. So I decided to rush these LLTs, and it was a very bad idea. I had no idea that there was 3 of them, and that's why vision is so important. You gotta have vision. You gotta have that line of sight. I had the radar up, but I didn't know what kind of units these were, and I figured they were not all going to be LLTs, and they all turned out to be LLTs. And so unfortunately I did lose my commander there, and a bunch of my units as well in the explosion. So not the best play. Thankfully, I've got these rocket bots and these plasma bots that are scaring off the goblins and plasma bots, the satyrs of Beyond Ambition. So right now, he is, for the time being, leaving me alone, but he is going to build an amputator, which is a fantastic long-range artillery weapon. He brought his T1 constructor unit up to build this, and I would say this is similar to a gauntlet. There is a Dragon's Jaw, which is like a pop-up turret, which is similar to the flame or lightning turrets. Then we've got the amputator, which fires off these larger rounds at a very long range. And then we've got this cacophony, which is a smaller version, and it's not quite as effective as the amputator. The amputator is just a very, very fantastic weapon. You can see here, it immediately starts dealing massive damage to my front line. Not a good situation for me whatsoever. So I have to bring my units down. I decide to try to poke a little hole in Ambition's line here, trying to clump up my units a little bit more so I can squeeze through. Unfortunately, the time I wait gives Ambition and Brave Sir Robin the chance to come up and pinch my units in between, and I do not get many of them through. The units I do get through, though, are moving fast, and that's the cool thing about Legion, is the units do move pretty quickly compared to Core's units, and they still have the damage per second and the health to be able to hang on there. Now, Ambition knows that if I'm sending in all my units with my comm dead and not having been able to push on this very much, my resources are pretty limited at this point. So he sends in his units to come and get me. He's got a bunch of satyrs and goblins that are coming in quick and destroying my metal extractors. I'm producing my own goblins and trying to bring them up here as quickly as I can. Meanwhile, WAFFLEMAKER is helping me as well, which has been super helpful. He's got this napalm artillery, which really probably didn't help me too much because it was actually killing my units and it was hurting his own units. The napalm is definitely nice when it's on a front line and it's bombing the enemy position, but man, when it is firing on units that are moving, including themselves, it's not great because you start to blow up people's bases and people's units very quickly with these things. So after that really unfortunate run by, I am able to trade bases with Brave Sir Robin, and I don't get really anything of consequence in Beyond Ambition space. So he is pretty much untouched. He's still cranking. However, Brave Sir Robin is hamstrung at the moment. So he's got all the units he'll have for a little bit on the front line here. Meanwhile, I'm still cleaning up that attack from Beyond Ambition. I do get it cleaned up. I don't lose my lab, and WAFFLEMAKER starts to make these fantastic little guys. The Decurion. The Decurion is a relatively inexpensive tank. I mean, as far as T1 tanks goes, it's expensive. But it's almost like one of those T1.5 things where it's a superior T1 unit. Like, if you think about you know, it's that kid in your basketball team that grew 6 inches taller than everybody else, right? He's got the juice to make it happen. These units are stronger than most T1s, so they're going to take out most T1 units pretty easily, and they're going to hang with T2. They're not going to maybe overwhelm T2 like they do T1, but they're certainly going to hang with them. So I'm rebuilding. I'm throwing all my resources into a constructor units, a couple constructor units, so I can build up my metal extractors. And then I'm going to go into, which I haven't queued them up just yet, but I'm going to go into some Zagreus, the resurrection bots for Legion. And I'm going to show you something that, honestly, I don't do a lot of, and I should do more of, especially when I'm playing Frontline. But I'm going to start resurrecting all these units that are in my base. So I do queue up one, and I think I queue up some more here in a second. But I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, I don't have any units on the field. I don't have a lot of resources at this point in time. I need to resurrect these. It only takes energy, and my energy's doing okay right now. It's not fantastic, but it's doing okay. So if I start printing these res bots, I can walk around and get some units on the field pretty quickly. WAFFLEMAKER is doing a lot of work to keep this line secured. And Beyond Ambition is making it very difficult for him. So he does have his units. You see how he knows the range of this artillery, so he's keeping his units back like this. Fortunately, Beyond Ambition built another one of those long-range turrets and is able to bomb his position here. And so there's not much you can do about that at this point. You just gotta try to fight back. He does throw down his own amputator. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a dragon's jaw. I apologize. He's building a lot of those, actually. And you can see now our middle is pushing through and wiping out their mid, which is pretty awesome because this is the side that's a little imbalanced. So really, we should be feeling the hurt here, but we're not. We're doing a pretty good job here in the middle. I think the main reason why that happened though was because they decided to have one air player, and we decided to go all in on an 8-man front. So you can see we've got 2 people in this position, and they only had 1, which is definitely gonna be a huge imbalance. Eventually, there's gonna be a huge win there. All right, so my res bots are running around, and they are making me an army that I don't have right now. While I'm building my economy back up. And in the meantime, WAFFLEMAKER, he has built a ton of these Decurions. And we are ready for an assault here in a little bit because, man alive,
Commander has died.
We are really outpacing them. It looks like Beyond was saving up, or preparing for, I should say, his T2. So he's trying to bring some res bots out, presumably to reclaim some things that he can reclaim. Do get a resign call from the other side. The ace is already on T2, it looks like, yeah. So he's building some Belchers, the napalm skirmish bots. I would say they're kind of like a welder in a way. They're slow-ish, faster than a welder even. Definitely a slower unit, but also pretty effective on you know, attacking those lower end T1 units. And with the napalm, they're able to do damage for an extended period of time. So if you are able to attack the path of the units as they're walking in on that napalm, they're going to continue to explode. Unfortunately, you've got to keep your units out of the napalm, or they're going to take damage as well. Alright, so beyond ambition, he decides to go full out assault with Brave Sir Robin on WAFFLEMAKER and me. And WAFFLEMAKER's Decurions are annihilating his T1 bots. I mean, I think he lost 2 or 3 of those Decurions. Maybe more than that. Maybe like 4. But Beyond just lost his entire force. His entire force. And now I got my res bots up here, and I can res all these. So I'm bringing them up. I'm gonna keep building myself that army. Torrix goes in on Beyond Ambition. We're starting to realize that they don't have much of anything. That push really was everything that they had up on the front line. Beyond is still struggling to build that T2 lab. That's kind of his final salvo there to try to punch a hole in our line. WAFFLEMAKER asks if he should push. I let him know I'm ready. Torrix says go for it. And off we go. I'm going to send my units in first to try to give some vision and help WAFFLEMAKER's Decurions do most of the work, while my units take the damage. Bringing those forward here. We got those 3 darn heat ray towers that took out my commander in the beginning of the game. I'm getting my revenge finally. Coming in on those and blowing those up. The Decurions are just demolishing these static defenses. These things are just... they're so beastly. Look at this. The damage. The damage.
Commander has died.
It's incredible. Makes me want to go Legion vehicles. So the commander exploding does take out a lot of the health of these Decurions, but they are